friends, and welcome back to Kev's Hobby Showcase. I'm, of course, Kevin. You may have also seen me on Tabletop Jones Productions, where John and I are the two idiots playing board games. And today, well, I'm going to be doing a miniature painting video. I'm trying to scale back on these, so, well, number one, I don't run out of minis, and also because I kind of like flooded the channel with a lot of these, so I want to try to scale back on it a bit. And well, today I'm going to do from an old game. It's I think this part of it is most likely out of print. It's from the game, War Machine Hordes, but this is from the Hordes side of it. And here we are from the faction Skorne, the Skorne Warlock, Dominar Rasheth. Dominar Rasheth, I'm sorry. So I don't know if you can see it here. There's like a lot of little, little things here that I'm going to have to go over with different colors. And I am still trying to use the old P3 paints that went with this originally. Going through all my stuff, I noticed that some of them are done, pretty much, like dried out or whatever. So right now the only thing I know I have to replace is, well, they called it Skorne Red. So it's just going to be regular flat red that I normally use for everything else. And, I'm still going to use, the rest of it is still going to be from... Privateer Press's original paint release. Going to see how much of it is still good. If I do notice that something isn't good, I will try to replace it. I'm sorry, I should have silenced that. But one thing that was pointed out to me was when I did the Signar Warjack a while back, when I used the gold paint, that it looked faded. So I'm going to try to gold paint again. If it still looks faded, I will chuck it and use the one that I have in the regular paints that I use. I'm trying to make my stuff look good, but I'm also trying to not let something go to waste. And unfortunately, I did let these paints sit for quite a while while I wasn't playing the game and I wasn't preparing pieces. So anyway, to make a long story short, I'm going to try to utilize what I got, and if it's not something I could utilize, I'll get rid of it. All right. So anyway. So as you can see, well, I don't know if you can notice, but it is already primed, so I don't need to do that. But I am going to get my stuff together, and then I'll get started. All right, so stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I got my paints out, and forgot to take out my nifty device. I guess I'm out of practice. All right, so let's get to it. All right. All right, so I got the paints out, like I just said. And I took out all the brushes this time. So, I'm going to start off with the red. Just get right to it, Okay. So, mainly with the red, it's going to be this, this part down here. So, let's just get this thing covered. So, yeah. So right now, what I'm gonna do is mainly base coating. Whatever I feel is appropriate to do that with. I mean, some things are gonna be a bit separate. Like this thing here, what looks like almost like a belt. That's gonna be a different color. There's, the top of it is gonna be a different color. This is gonna be a different color. It's going to be a lot of little things done on this piece here. And as you can see, there's a lot of little crevices. And there's also some things like on this actual base that's being held up by these creatures underneath. And I believe, because it's been a while since I played the game, but I believe they're called like basilisks or something like that. But yeah, there's definitely things that are going to be, like the platform is going to be painted differently. It's going to look, it's going to basically be a piece with a lot of different distinctions, because also the creatures underneath, they're like they were like a whitish color. Now some of the colors either ran out a long time ago and I just got rid of them, or when I was bringing them out from my basement, that I realized that they were done and got rid of them, because for their skin there was something that I used to use called jack bone, because from the illustrations that the company gave, I mean, it was I don't know. That's. I mean, from the colors that they of the paints that they had, like that was factions. I almost said faction. That were faction specific. Jack Bone was always associated with this, and it looked like it was that color. So for right now, since I don't have that anymore because I looked for it and I don't have it, I'm going to use a color called Rucksack Tan, which should be close to what the illustrations were. And of course this one, the tab broke off to open this. There we go. As you could hear from that pop, there's a lot of suction on this. Yeah, this is, I mean, listen, close enough as far as the skin goes on this guy. And of course on him, there's like a lot of different things that that are going to be painted, you know, different colors and whatnot. So it's like this thing around his neck. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be, but it's definitely going to be a different color than the skin color. It's definitely not part of his skin. And his little, I got my finger caught in there. And there's also little things on his arm, on his arms, I should say, that also are going to be painted different colors. I mean, I'm going to be looking to get everything, you know, done in a very specific way. All right, so I'm going to get this. Then I'm going to get the creatures underneath. Now, looking at this, you can imagine how much of a hassle this thing was to put together. And I do remember it was like a very precarious balancing act to get this to stay. And I was very, 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 very pleased just to be done. You know, to get that, you know, to get it this, you know, when it was finally done and it was all holding in place and whatnot. And yeah, it was quite the feat. All right, so I'm gonna keep that out because I don't know if I'm gonna need that again. Looks like I kept the red out as well. And now, for the creatures I know I used to use a different color, but it was like a very kind of translucent color. But I remember I used to put this one underneath, but I can't find the translucent one. This is called Morrow White. So let me find a brush to do this with. Okay. Now there's 3 creatures underneath, and they're all going to be this color. Not going to be too much details on these guys, but I am going to utilize the red, like for in their mouths and, you know, their eyes. I know that these little things, they are actually like a unit in this faction. Like they have certain abilities, and when you put them together to be like a unit, is like little marks on them, because like this faction was all about like kind of like physical punishment, and, you know, making these creatures bleed and stuff like that. So it was like, you know, I basically chose it because it was very, very different from what I usually play, and I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. You know, something, well, it's not really a little bit different; it's a lot different. But I wanted to do something different, kind of not always do the same thing that I always do. Alright, so hopefully, because I closed my front door this time, so hopefully noise that's going on outside will not find its way onto my video. Alright. Yeah, so, you know, John and I, we are going to eventually play this game again, and we're going to do it as exclusive content for our Patreon channel. Now, for those of you who haven't been clicking on the links but are just trying to look it up, It is actually called Storytime Jones because originally we had very different plans for the Patreon channel. It just didn't wind up working out the way we wanted it to. Because originally I was going to make, I was going to write stories specifically for the channel, and John was going to read them, being that he took voiceover lessons and was getting ready to implement that as something else he can do as a living. But just didn't work out for us to do that. And so basically my story that's going to be hopefully published soon. I'm just waiting on the copyright to be done, but I have been reading on the channel. So my story, The New Age of Heroes, was originally supposed to be exclusive to Patreon. And it just didn't, like I said, it just didn't work out that way. But you want to know something? I'm, in a very subtle way, I'm kind of glad, because now I got kind of bigger ambitions for it. And, I've got to kind of have bigger plans, and I am already, I'm waiting on the copyright to self-publish. I'm going to self-publish to Amazon like I do with everything else. And I'm already writing the next one. All right. Okay. So I think that's all the base coating I could do for now. I really need to let a lot of that dry. So let's close this. All right. Whoops. All right. So I'm going to let that paint. I'll let that paint dry, and then when I come back, I'm going to basically try to do any other surface that is only primer at the. So I'm not going to try to do any details on top of paint that I've already put down just yet. I want to get that done, and I do apologize if this video winds up being on the longer side, because there is a lot to do on this piece. All right, so anyway, stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and paint is pretty dry, at least dry enough for me to continue. So I'm going to get started on more of the areas that are just covered with the primer, and see how far I can get. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, get right here in the center. Okay. So I'm going to, where is it? Here is it. I'm going to use a color called Gray Coat Gray. I'm going to get this piece that's kind of like around his rather enormous waist, and this piece that's around his head. Eventually, I do have to get the pillows and the stuff in the back, but we can wait on that for now. All right. Okay, move that a little bit more out of the whoops. Would not do well if I accidentally knocked it over and broke it, wouldn't it? Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna have, and over here there's like what looks like ropes, and this is common amongst this faction, where a lot of things that are kind of like etched into the design to look like it's securing everything, where it looks like just a bunch of ropes. Alright. Alright, let's get this in here. Alright, let's just tilt it this way so it's easy to see. Alright, let me get the ropes on this side. Alright. Now, this thing that's around his neck, which I'll be honest, when I first got this, I thought that was supposed to be part of his actual skin. Alright. Now eventually I may need to go over this because it does have a little bit of design here. Alright, and let's get the front. Okay. Alright. Got that. Alright, now some of these colors I'm going to have to bring out again. It's not going to be just one and done. I'm trying to keep the brushes close by too, so I don't have to, you know, have multiple brushes for you know, the same color. Alright, now this is called pig iron, this one. Alright, so let's just use that to get this. Alright. So we got this little bit here. Alright. Let me get a better grip. Okay, almost. Okay. All right. Now, eventually I will have to bring it out again because this here looks like a little chalice cup. I'm going to make that the same color. The platform, I mean, there's little things here, like, you know, apparently this guy likes to snack a lot. But the platform itself, I am going to do into like a black color. Just give me a sec here. Because I wasn't actually thinking of going this far in this segment of the video. So Thamar Black is next. So I'm going to get the upper surface, the sides, because the sides, I mean, it does have some design on it, but I can do that more later. I can go over it lightly with, like, say, like the gold color and get a lot of that to show up. I'm not going to go over this thing that's flapping on the back. All right, so let me get this side now. Okay. Now, one thing I will say is I don't really know for sure if I had painted this back when, if I had gotten to paint this back when we were playing the game at first, if I would have painted this the same way, because there's a lot more source material to draw on for stuff like this. All right, so now I'm going to, let me get a good grip here. I'm going to get the underside. Okay. All right. Get the underside. Get as much of it as I can, because I'm not going to be able to get all of it because of the creatures that are underneath. There's just some I just can't get the brush to. But I'm going to get as much of it as possible without getting any of the paint on the creatures. The poor unfortunate creatures that are holding up this big guy. I'll refrain from saying anything derogatory because I know I'm no lightweight. Yeah. So, you know, if I were to say something, that'd be like, you know, the pot and the kettle, if you know what I mean. All right. All right. So, we got that. I did take out some random colors. Well, really just one. You know what? Let me see what else I got here. You know what? Let me just use the one. All right, so let me put this away. Put the more black aside. I have a purple color. It's called beaten purple. All right, so I'm going to use this to give a nice kind of like base coat to the pillows behind, and I'll get to the. Actually, you know what? Let me just, maybe I can get the whole thing with this. It's like something with tassels. I can get that with gold later. Yeah, I don't know, it's like I want to get the pillows, the cushions that he's on in this color, because like in my opinion, it just looks like it's something that would be luxurious. Something like, I guess for them would be considered like expensive, you know, outlandish, you know, ostentatious, whatever other adjective that we can think of, throw it in there. Yeah, I'm gonna get the whole thing like that, because on the sides this last one looks like it's like a rug unfolding, so let's just get it all. And get the underside. Okay. This is actually not only coming out a bit better than I thought it would, but also coming out a little bit quicker than I thought it would. Okay. So, oh. Is there a little bit there? Trying to get in there without getting it on him. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let that paint dry, because we did just put on, well, I just put on quite a bit. Different, you know, little bits here and there, you know. So let's let it all dry. Take a break. All right, so like I said, I'm going to let that paint dry and take a bit of a break. When I come back, I'm going to start doing little tiny details that I can, you know, anything that I could think of, anything that looks like it should be also a different color, I'm going to do. All right, so I'm just going to assess what I got and figure out where I'm going to go from here. So stay tuned. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and the paint is dry. We're going to start doing some details on this piece and try to get it all done. All right, so let's get to it. All right, I almost forgot that. Sorry, I shined the light in there. Okay, so actually before I start on the gold, let's see, is there any, all right, so now, yeah, all right, so there's something I need to do with red, so okay, all right. Yeah, little bits here and there, and I do remember these types of armor pieces I always did in the red color, so I'm going to do it in red right now. Some other stuff has to go on top of that, but that's going to have to wait until that dries. All right, now, anything else in red? Well, actually, I want to do that in red, but let me wait until I actually paint the chalice. All right, so let's put this aside for now. All right, let's take out the gold and see what we can do with this. If this doesn't go on good, I'm going to grab the one I have. Oops, the one that I have in my little arsenal here. All right. All right, so this I need to go on subtly. So it may look a bit faded, but it is supposed to be like just subtly on, not like a dominant, part of it. this. Basically trying to go from memory, because I mean I do have these pieces in like storage, but well, not really in storage. I mean in storage. I mean it's like in my basement, but I don't really have the room to have it up here just yet. All right, so getting to where I think it's appropriate to put the put gold paint. All right, I think the gold is going on better this time than it did the last, though. All right, so yeah, go lightly on the side, and it does show up more. I don't know if you could see it on the camera. It does show up more on the raised parts. Okay. All right, now get a little bit more at the end there. So let me see if there's anything else that would need the gold paint. I don't think so. Well, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna take some liberties. There is something here on the back of this that I'm just gonna do. All right, let's see if it actually. I don't know if it's showing up good on camera, but there's that little piece of the cushion back there. And you know what? There's like these little protruding things. I'm gonna get them in gold. All right, get more of that. Okay, so now I do see that in there's things like in his skin. Actually, I also see that there's something right there. And you know what? I know this is probably still drying, but if I go light enough, it'll show up pretty darn good. And it did. Well, at least I think it did. Okay, so all right, let me get the well, let's see, maybe take out a different one, because there's something called that brush is not. Let me see if I can find a good one here. I don't think I did. Okay, so well, let me put this away. Do this first. Now, you know I'm going to use pig iron like I did before. You know what? Let me put that brush back. Let me get the one I used before. I don't know if this is the one I used before, but I'm going to use it now. All right, so first things first, on this, we got little jagged things that could definitely be done as metal. All right. Oh, actually that. No, actually no. That doesn't have to be gold. It's like little medallion-looking things hanging on the side. All right. So now we got some things over here. I'm just going to lightly go over them with this. Okay. And what we got here on this side is the nice chalice. Which I'm going to paint first this color. I'm going to try not to get it in there because I want to put the red inside so that to indicate whatever it was he's drinking. Okay. All right. Oh, let me get the little bits here and there. I think I put too much on that. Get it nice and light and. Yeah, one thing I learned about this faction is they were very big on piercings. Okay. All right. All right. And get whatever I can on these little creatures down here because they do have things stuck in them. Oh, and I gotta, at some point I should get the red back out and take care of some of their things there. Okay, and now the ones in the back, they got a lot of piercings on the back that I'm getting right now. The one that's in the front, well, you can barely see. Let me see, can I see it? Kind of, sort of. I'll reach in, get in what I can. Yep. Actually, you can see it, so I'm getting it. All right. All right. Yep, getting every little bit that I can. All right, and it worked out pretty good. All right, I gotta get some more of the red to get the little flap in the front. And it's a little bit here, I think could use this color. It's not gonna show up much, but it's, you know, when you're up close, personal with it, it does show up a bit more. All right, just give me a sec now. And get the red back out because I do have some details to do with the red, and I think I might be done with the painting at that point. Oops. All right, let me get inside the mouth. Just the one in the front. Has the mouth open. Put the red by the eyes. All right, not as much as I thought it was going to be. Okay. So, all right. Just clean that brush. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Oh, I almost forgot. One last thing with the red that I almost forgot. There we go. Now I'm done. All right, so let me get this off. I blinded you once, I don't want to blind you again. All right. Okay, so I'm going to let that paint dry, and when I come back, I'm going to do the basing. It's basically basing and wash that's left. So the way the lore was for Skorne is like it looked like they were always in a desert. So I always use like a desert setting for the base. So that's what I'm going to use. And then basically after that, it's just put the wash on and it's all finished. All right, so stay tuned. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. The paint is now dry, and I'm going to get started on the basing. All right, so, yeah. Let's get to this. All right, so this base, as you can see, is too big. So I've poured a bit of the terrain on the top of the container that I'm using. And, well, first thing I got to do is spread the glue. Otherwise, it's never going to stay here. I am not sure why I'm having trouble with this. Alright, well, maybe because it's getting close to the end, maybe some of the glue dried up in here. I'm going to have to pretty much adapt and do this a different way. Yeah, never let things hold you back. There's always a solution. Now, alright, so I think I may have cleared out what was blocking it. Now I know I'm at near the end of this. Well, I guess that wasn't it. Alright, so I'm going to have to just kind of adapt. Oh, okay. And that's what I was afraid of doing. But I think that's more than enough to spread around the entire base. And I'm going to have to wipe on 2 parts of the edge, or actually a couple parts on the edge, so that I don't have all this excess glue coming over the edge. All right, so first let me, dang it, let me wipe the brush without pulling it apart, preferably. Now, okay. And that's why I put this down, so I don't get all this stuff on my table. Learned that the hard way. Alright, so I'm definitely going to have to get some more. I'm going to have to get glue at some point, because this is just about done. Alright, so, whoops. Alright. Alright. Okay. This is pretty good. Alright. Alright. Well, let's get this, let's get the wash on and get this piece done. Alright, so let me try to pick this up without messing up what I've already done. Alright, so this one here, this particular piece has got a lot of nooks and crannies that can get into, that the wash can get into. Whoops, and I got it to where the drink was, but that's okay. Alright. There we go. So now it's time for the creatures to get the wash. And like I've always said when I do these when I do this, because I have arthritis in my hands. I have arthritis just about everywhere, but this helps me keep the dexterity of my hands, you know, being able to grip things, because there was quite a while where that was a major issue. You know, I worked through it, but you know, I was. Oh, jeez. Too much glue, I suppose. Well, that'll dry at some point. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much done it for that. All right. And we are done. Oh, didn't take as long as I thought it would. So here we go. Warlock, Dominar, Rasheth of the Skorne Empire. Okay, so that's what I got for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and thank you for everybody who's been subscribing. I am up to 80 subscribers. I would like to make it to 100, and I'm trying to. I've pretty much have an idea of what to do as like a little bit of a celebration for the 100th. I'm working on something. It's like a video a type of video I haven't done before, but you know, I think I have time to build it up and get it to get it ready to go when I reach 100 subscribers. But anyway. Again, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video as much as possible. Also, please go to Tabletop Jones Productions and do the same there. I mean, eventually what I do here does wind up appearing there. In fact, currently, everything I've done for the game Aliens: Another Glorious Day in the Core is making an appearance on the Tabletop Jones Productions site. So, or video, I should say, channel. Oh. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, we're up to 32 subscribers there. We'd like to get to 33 so we can start live streaming games. It's not something we know how to do yet, but we want to learn. And again, so it's going to be nice milestones to reach, and some nice some nice things to do in celebration of those milestones that we have that I and my partner John have in the works. So anyway, again, thank you for watching. Please take care of yourselves. Have a great day, and I will see you again.